Everybody ready? Come on, let's go.
The Thorne Show! Let's go! The Thorne Show! Let's go!
Yo, what's up? I'm Rick Thorne, the Biker in Black. Welcome to my show, recorded at the world-famous Valley Relics Museum. Let's do this. Yo, what's up, Vinny?
What's up, dude?
Kind of nervous.
Don't be.
It's my first thing on my own, bro.
Dude, it's an honor to be first video. Because you've done audio podcasts. You've had your own show, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, but this is the first video version.
It is. But, you know.
It's an honor.
You know, yeah. But, hey, what's up? This is the Rick Thorne Show. How's everybody doing? I got Vinny. I don't even know how to say your last name, Vinny.
Imperati.
Imperati? I know you as Skinny Vinny.
Skinny Vinny. That's better.
Skinny Vinny.
My real legal name, like birth certificate name, is Vincenzo Giuseppe Imperati.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's kind of rad.
It doesn't get more white than that.
I know.
Yeah, it's like the whitest name I've ever heard.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, say it one more time.
Vincenzo Giuseppe Imperati.
Why don't you go by Vincenzo?
It's pretty rad.
People probably go, how do you say that?
Yeah.
Go back to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Vin, what, man? Just call you Vinny, man.
Yeah, so Skinny Vinny works.
Skinny Vinny's the man.
Skinny Vinny works, dude.
That's how I know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Crazy.
Yeah, we've known each other for a little bit now.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I looked you up online. I was like, I noticed you were born in 1987.
87, yeah.
And I was like, bro.
I'm going to be 36 in a couple weeks.
I graduated the year you were born.
Graduated high school.
Yeah.
Whoa. Holy shit.
Yeah, you know.
Whoa.
Time flies.
Dude,
you know?
She was born in 99.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. I've already been married twice and divorced. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, what a trip, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, crazy, dude.
Yeah.
87.
And you have kids, right?
Yeah.
How old are they?
15 and 17.
Okay.
Yeah, they're almost adults.
Yeah.
Well, that's badass, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's been.
You'll have kids one day.
Yeah, I'll have kids one day. I feel like I definitely want kids, but I feel like my career is finally going in a place where I've been busting my ass for a while.
Yeah.
And with all the touring and all the everything else, it wouldn't be fair to the kids, and it wouldn't be fair to me. It wouldn't be fair to her to pull the trigger right now. So.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to kind of be like. You know,
I want to be in a place where I feel secure and I feel like
you're never gonna feel that way.
I know. I know.
You just got to do it, bro.
I know. I
mean, but kids is a big deal. But it's kind of like this, dude. It's like rolling in a ramp. Like, when's a better time than right now?
Just commit.
But kids is a little different.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you reach a point in your life where you're going to be like, you're not getting younger. Like,
totally.
I had my first kid at 36, my second at 38.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. See, I mean, I feel like that, but like Autumn, she's pretty young and she has like a lot of time to work on her career, a lot of life to live. And I don't want to take that away from her, you know? And like, I threw my 20s away. Like I was homeless and addicted to drugs my whole 20s.
Yeah. We want to talk about that. Cause I didn't know that about you until you text that earlier. And I was like, whoa. And you know, because we know each other.
Yeah, but we don't know each other.
The podcast is to get to know him.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to take your time.
Yeah.
But don't you think the women nowadays, they have like, it's different than like our grandmas. They're like out of high school and have kids.
For sure.
And so now it's like things have opened up so much for women and opportunities and jobs and all kinds of everything.
Yeah.
Is different. So where it's like, you can wait a little bit to have kids. You don't need to have them right away.
Totally.
Like they were trained to like think.
Yeah, and like I didn't want kids pretty much my whole life because I was living very selfishly, you know, especially living in my addiction. I was just like, oh, like I only care about myself, you know, like, and fuck bringing kids into the world. Like I didn't want kids forever. And then when I finally got sober and I was like, okay, maybe it could be an option. And then when I started to get a little like, I'll have 6 years sober in February. Still, thank you. It's still not that much time compared to all the years that I was using. But now that I've had have a little bit of time under my belt, like the thought of having kids, and now I'm actually like financially okay, and like I've built this life that's like pretty big and colorful. I'm like, oh, having kids would kind of be rad. I have a lot of cool people in my life. You know, it'd be kind of sick bringing kids into this world and like having this little family. You know, but
Learn how to change diapers.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, she's young and like she has a little modeling career that she's building, and I don't want to take that away from her. So
Yeah, I get it.
But
men could have kids later. Look at De Niro and Pacino.
dude,
Are those guys still competing with each other or what?
bro,
People were saying that.
Yeah,
You know,
but
you got a kid, I can have one too.
yeah, but
I'll make
the
so
idea
much.
the idea of having kids at at mid 40s kind of is like, ugh, I don't know if I would like to do that. I mean, if it happens, it happens. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. But I want to be able to be that dad that's like skating at the skate park
Yeah.
with my 10-year-old or 15-year-old. You know what I mean? I don't want to be
Absolutely.
super old having a kid.
Wait, how old are you again?
I'll be 36.
You're good. That's a good age.
Yeah.
Or even if it's like 40, you know.
Yeah,
Buddy of mine had a
40's
kid at
cool.
40.
You know, early 40s, whatever.
you young.
Yeah, true.
you
Yeah.
know? But
Yeah.
here's the sad thing about it all. It's crazy about, since we're just talking about kids, because I do want to talk about all the stuff that you've overcome and where
Yeah.
you're at and everything you got going on.
Yeah.
The crazy thing with kids is, bro, you love kids and they're little and they love you, and then they grow up to be like, you want them to be independent because you don't want them always to depend on you. But then it's a freaking crazy, it's a crazy balance because then you have to, like, they're going to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm going through that.
Yeah.
You know, to where it's like, okay, and you want them to be independent.
Totally.
But then you're like, well, what am I going to do for me?
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Well, you're always going to be my little kid. So I get that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get that until you have kids.
Now, my question for you: do your kids know who you are? Like,
didn't.
They didn't. But are they starting to like realize? Oh shit, my pops was like a legend, or is a legend.
I think so. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I think so. But I've been real humble with my kids. Like,
For sure.
Just for the sake, you know, my kids came home one day and they were like, "Yo, Dad, my friend said you were in a movie." I was like, "Nah, it's bullshit." And they're like, "No, yeah." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I was." And they're like, "No, what?"
Yeah.
And that was like 5th, 6th grade.
Yeah.
So I didn't go. I always felt weird bragging to my kids.
Yeah.
Now that my kids are older, my son's a hardcore football player. My daughter's hardcore lacrosse. They're both athletes. That I'm sure, you know, they know my accomplishments. But then my son's now asking me, "Have you ever had a day like where you feel like, you know, you're not on your game, or you're in the middle of a game, you don't feel good?" Yeah. And now I'm starting to open up more about that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know, you know. And I look, dude, don't ever push your kid to do something that you want
I agree.
them to do.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, because then you're going to be like, you know, anyways. But you have kids one day, they'll be cool. They'll be running around. And then you'll be like, why'd I have these?
Yeah. yeah.
Great. Good,
You just have one boy, one girl.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
That's sick.
the way to do
That's
it.
like the dream right there.
Yeah,
One
it
boy,
is.
one girl.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. So I want to talk about something with you outside of kids.
Yeah.
So you were addicted to drugs and you were homeless at the same time?
Yeah.
Homeless?
Homeless.
Like on the street, like-
I not even on the street, dude. I slept in a porta potty for 2 years.
What?
Yeah. So the homelessness came towards the tail end of my addiction. Like it was like the end of my 20s. But pretty much my whole 20s, 20 years old to 30, I was either couch surfing, sleeping on park benches. Like, yeah, dude, I was super strung out for a long time.
So did you burn like all your bridges?
Every
to the
bridge.
point there where that's where you ended up in the porta potty.
for sure. I mean,
you
it
can't
was
stay here, you can't here.
exactly, and it was
Yeah.
basically like nobody wanted me around. I was a piece of shit, dude. Like I was like a very bad person. I did a lot of bad things, and I was hanging out with people who were just as miserable as I was. You know, misery loves company kind of thing. So it's like. And by the end of it, you know, it's like the one friend who I was getting high with, you know, like his dad was like, dude, you can't come here anymore. So basically, I was sleeping in the porta potty, and this was like in Connecticut. And so it's like in the summer it gets really hot, so you can't stay in that thing during the day, and then the winters it snows, so it's like.
But did you dump the thing, or did it have like shit in it?
It had shit in it, dude. Like,
Whoa, for
yeah,
that long?
Yeah, and it was like it was a handicap sized porta potty, and so
I
it
see
was
what you're
so it
saying.
was just big enough for me to like curl up I had like some bedding and a pillow, and it was just big enough for me to like curl up in a ball and sleep.
That's crazy,
So I would
bro.
so what I would do is like I would wake up in the morning super early when the sun came out, and I would hide all my bedding and pillows in like a bush somewhere, and I would just spend my whole day figuring out ways to get loaded. And then I would come back, find my bedding, make my bed, and do the same thing over and over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a trip.
Yeah, it was gnarly, man. It was gnarly. I was like heroin was like my favorite thing in the world.
That's what it was?
Yeah, heroin. I mean, it was basically everything, but heroin would be like.
So the drug
would
just
be
took
it.
over.
Yeah.
Bro, that's insane.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what it was. I mean, you could say, oh, well, what was it hit rock bottom? But it's like, yeah, that's pretty rock bottom right
For
there.
sure. And I mean, like,
What was it that made you say, all right, dude, I had enough?
so I don't know how. Remember when Obama was in office? We had those Obama phones for people who couldn't afford a regular phone.
Yeah.
So I had an Obama phone.
I'm still using mine.
Yeah. and I somebody found my number and this was somebody who I used to get high with 6 years prior, before all this, and he ended up coming to LA, got sober. He somehow found my number. He's like, hey dude, I'll fly you to LA, but you have to go into rehab. But my sick thinking was, yeah, a free plane ticket to Los Angeles. It's way easier to be homeless in LA than it is on the East Coast. So I was like, I bullshitted him. I was like, yeah, I'll go to rehab. He flies me out here, and the first week in rehab, I just leave. I had no intentions of getting sober whatsoever. And this was
funny
down.
you say flies me out here, and then there's.
Yeah,
We're at the airport.
Yeah, right next to it, right?
It's Van Nuys Airport.
Yeah. My old house was right down the street.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you bullshitted him to get to LA.
So I get to LA, and
So you kind of already was like smart enough to know that if you go to LA, it'd be better to be homeless.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't snow.
Because the winters on the East Coast are gnarly.
Yeah.
So and then so the first week I leave, and then I start my homelessness down in Newport Beach, which isn't such a bad place to live.
It's pretty ghetto down there.
Yeah, but on the beach, I was sleeping under a lifeguard tower for a little bit, and then I slowly made my way north up to Skid Row, and I was on Skid Row for a couple months.
Wow.
And
do you think though that's a crazy story, bro? I never knew. Do you think though by you going like, because if I was homeless, I would do this.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew like where to go for it to be better weather. So do you think that was even part of you was like that was going to get you out because you already had a strategy in mind to get yourself out of things? Or no?
No, I don't think it was any of that. I honestly
I would think that like if I was homeless, I do this. Go, well, that's why I'm not homeless.
Yeah.
I would be like, I ain't do this to
No,
get out of it.
the reason why I say no is because the only thing that was on my mind was my next fix, was my next high. That's all I cared about. I wasn't planning my future or anything like that. I was literally like, okay, how am I going to get high today? How am I going to get high tomorrow? And where am I going to sleep where it's like I'm not going to die, kind of thing, And back then I think I like to think that I have like somewhat of like a street smart kind of like common sense thing, just because I was like in that life for so long. So I like knew like what to do, what not to do, and I really didn't get into trouble with anybody else on the streets. Like I've gotten arrested a bunch of times, but like as far as like the street shit, I was like cool and I was like comfortable.
So did you ever feel like did you get in fights and robbed and shit a lot?
I've gotten into only one fight, and it was like I got jumped, and this was because I beat them, like I robbed them, and they ended up finding me. This was in Connecticut. This wasn't even in LA.
I see.
Yeah, and they hit me over the head with a brick. Still have the stitch, the scar, and that was that. Dude, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Like, and I'm like at the end of the day, like I think I'm a little pussy. So I don't want any of that shit. What led you to do
drugs? I mean, did you have a weird upbringing?
No, I mean, it wasn't rough. My mom is an ex-addict. Okay. Most of my family members are alcoholics. It wasn't like we lived an okay life, like we didn't have money, but we were okay.
The drugs just can creep up on anybody.
Dude, and like I saw what it did to my mom. I saw what it did to family members. So I always like made a thing like I'm never touching that shit.
Right.
And somehow like I first started smoking weed, love weed. Then started drinking, love drinking. And then like Percocets came in the picture. When I found the Percocets, it was like, oh, okay. I found what I've been looking for my whole life.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then it comes like Percocets start to be expensive. So then I start selling, and then I get into that game for a long time. And then like I get arrested, I do a little bit of time, and then heroin comes in the picture because it's cheaper, and it's just one thing after another, and it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's like, so it could happen to anybody.
Absolutely. It doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
For sure.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always saw that because another person that was like that, Sid Nancy, and I saw that she was from a good kid from a good neighborhood.
Yeah, dude.
Got caught up
it doesn't discriminate. You could be rich, you could be poor, black, white, purple, whatever, dude. No matter what world you're in, it does not discriminate.
Well, no, Sid, yes. Sorry if someone misunderstood. I meant Nancy.
Yeah.
She was from a good neighborhood. He was obviously a mess. With a bummer with that stuff. But dude, so what was it though that made you like say, all right, I need to Did someone offer you an opportunity, a job? Like, were you on the street like begging for money, that kind of thing?
I would never beg. That was one thing I never did. I think I had too much pride to beg.
So then you would just steal shit?
I'd steal. That was my thing. I'd steal.
Or dig in the trash and all that kind of shit?
I wouldn't even dig in the trash. It was mostly just stealing, dude. It was like stealing and manipulating was my thing. It was like I manipulated and lied to my mom for years. I manipulated her to pay for my health insurance for so long, and that's kind of how when I came to LA, like from Newport to Skid Row, I would do like little stints in sober livings just to like sleep on a bed for 2 days and eat some food for 2 days. But the health insurance would pay for that.
Got it.
So I would go in, my tolerance would go down a little bit, sleep in an actual bed, eat some actual food, then leave, go get high. And I was doing that every couple weeks.
Wow.
And the last sober living that I got kicked out of, I was on the front yard, ready to go get loaded, had a little bit of money in my pocket. I was going to go get a hotel room, get high, and then start all over again. But I was sitting in the front yard, and I remember this so vividly. And I was waiting for my Uber, and all of a sudden I get the most vivid whisper of one of my best friends who passed from an overdose years before this. And the whisper was like, "Enough is enough." And it scared me to the point, like it was like super vivid. Like,
so this was it.
This was it, but it wasn't where I was like, okay, I'm never using drugs again. It was more of like, whoa, that was fucking weird. Let me call another sober living. I'll get loaded tomorrow, kind of thing.
Got it.
So I called the program director. I was like, yo, dude, I know you just kicked me out, but if you put me in another house, I'll try. Still had no intentions of staying sober long term.
Right.
So he puts me into another house. I go in there, and that's where I meet Zach S. And
oh, no way.
Yeah,
okay.
And that's kind of where everything started, dude. It was like I walk in the house. I knew who he was. He already had a little bit of internet fame. I knew who he was. He was looking for a videographer at the time, and I grew up filming skateboarding.
So how many years ago was that?
This was in 2018.
Oh, it's just not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
So you sobered up not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
Oh, you said 6 years.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 6 years in February.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You said you never dug in the trash.
Never dug in the trash.
We did. We used to dig in the trash and
Yeah.
find shit and then have garage sales.
See, that's
genius,
that's,
bro.
That's sick.
That's the
no,
hustle. That's
yeah,
the
that's
hustle.
a great hustle.
No,
That's
no,
a great.
me and my whole family did.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me and my
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
Like, we were trying to get out of an apartment to rent a house.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, bro, because I try to understand like people that have been through addictions like that with drugs. And I've known a lot of people, and a lot of people think that I've done drugs. The funny thing is, I've never done any drugs.
I remember you telling us that before.
Never.
Yeah.
I've smoked weed a couple times.
Yeah.
That's not even my thing. I'm pretty high pain tolerance guy.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
need it for pain. Like, I take CBD and stuff, which is
Yeah.
cool. That helps me out a lot. But when it comes to getting drugs and shit, I've never done anything, so it's hard for me to understand. The only way I could relate it to is like bike riding. Like if I don't ride, I'm like the worst dude to be around, or I get shaky and like
Yeah.
because I want to exert that.
Yeah.
Search for that.
That
feeling.
makes a lot of sense.
And it seems like it's the
Yeah.
same thing. So when I hear
It
stories,
is, man.
yeah.
It's you could probably relate to this where you feel like do you feel like you're an extremist?
I mean, I am an action. I'm an extreme. I'm an they used to
extreme
call us doing
athlete.
Extreme sports.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
When that came out, they're like extreme sports. We're like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then it went to action sports. Like it's a little better, but
Yeah.
still BMX.
But do you feel like in every other aspect of your life, you take stuff to the extreme? Like, for example, you get a tattoo, you get tattoos all over your body.
Yeah.
Some shit like that. You know what
Well,
I
I'm
mean?
the kind of guy where I get involved with something, I'm going to be good at it.
Exactly.
I'm not like a dabbler.
Yeah.
Like, I go snowboard on the weekends, and then a lot of people do. Me, I'm like ride.
Yeah.
Because I know that's what makes me happy, and those are my goals.
Yeah.
And it's like the music. And since me and you met each other, I've been doing a shitload of comedy.
I know.
Comedy's taking
I know,
off.
dude.
Taking off.
Yeah,
It's
that's something that I still want to dabble in.
Bro, I might be getting a show, another show somewhere. So
That's
it'd be
so
up your
sick.
alley
Yeah.
for the kind of show it is.
Yeah.
Can't tell you
Love
right
it.
now though, because it might not happen. I won't jinx it.
Don't jinx it.
No.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I know what you mean. You get like so the extreme behavior is it could be good or bad.
For sure, because even in my sobriety, I consider myself an extremist. When I start something, I go fucking hard. Like I with the video editing, with the production, now being in front of the camera, like it's all I do. I have a 1-track mind, and it's all I fucking focus on.
Right.
And I kind of feel like that's why things have gone so well for me. And dude, because not even 6 years ago, I was sleeping in a porta potty.
Right.
Not even 6 years later, I'm co-host with Steve. So it's like,
Dude.
It's strange, man.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into all that too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say how you met Zach Ass.
Yeah.
Because that's how I met you.
Yeah.
It was your guys' podcast you were doing. And you guys both met, and that was like, that's when your life changed.
It's when my life, that's where it started. I didn't know what was going to come from it, but what I did know, because, dude, I grew up with fucking skateboards on my walls, posters of the Jackass guys on my wall. I've never told Steve this, but I've had pictures of him everywhere in my room.
I got a funny story
You know
with
what I mean? Yeah.
Dude, I got to tell you this real quick.
Yeah.
Because Steve-O, he'll remember this one. I'm going to say it because,
Yeah.
I love Steve-O. Back in the mid-2000s, hold your thought because I got to tell you this. We were running around Hollywood, dude. It was crazy, right? And that's right when X Games was banging. I mean, it had been hitting, but like 2005 was a pretty rad year.
Yeah.
And it might have been 2004, something like that. Anyways, we were at a club, and I see Steve-O, and everyone used to hang out all the time, all the time in Hollywood, and whatever, that's what you do. And he whips out his dick. In
What
the
else is
club,
new?
In the club, right?
Yeah.
He's Jackass, that's what he does. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, who cares? And some dudes that like wanted to kill him, that were like, that would have killed, like, that enjoy that, you know? And I saved him because I knew those guys.
Really?
And I was like, yo, bro, he's cool. He's just, that's what he does.
Yeah.
I'll fucking kill him right now. And I was like, no, bro. Like, and so years later, my ex-wife, she was in rehab. And Steve-O, they went to meetings together, and he goes, oh, you're Rick's wife. Tell him I owe him one. So I'm holding you to it, Steve-O.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for me, all right?
That's a great one.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's pretty good one. It's pretty good one. But yeah, so it's crazy how it works.
Yeah.
So you went from, and so what happened with you and Zach Ass?
So it was basically, he needed a videographer.
Right, okay.
I have experience with cameras, and he was like, all right, well, come film this one video with me.
Because you said you had skating in your walls. You were into that world.
Dude, I was. It was my dream. It was my passion. Like, my first dream was I wanted to be a skateboard. Well, actually, my first dream was I wanted to be a pro skater. That was my first dream.
Awesome.
But I'm a bigger dude. It's never going to happen. So I wanted to live in the world of skateboarding. So that's where my love of the video camera came up.
Got it.
So,
Yeah.
so I had a video camera with me everywhere. Then Jackass starts to come on TV. It was like October of 2000 where I fell in love with it instantly.
Right.
And I look at the TV and I'm like, Mom, this is what I want to do when I grow up. I want to travel the world and do stupid shit with my friends. And she just giggles and laughs. And so that was my passion. That was my dream. Then when the drugs came along, goodbye dream. I didn't care. It was never going to happen. I'm already in my 20s, whatever. So Zach was like, all right, well, come film this video. We filmed this video on Venice Beach on the boardwalk, and we attach a boxing glove. It's actually funny because it's that one that I brought.
We're gonna see it,
And we attach the glove to a remote control RC. It's like a gas-powered one, so it drives like 60 miles per hour.
Got it.
We attach it to that. And Zach just spread eagles on the boardwalk. A huge crowd surrounds us, and we drive the RC car right into his nuts. And it was really funny, really simple, easy to do. And we post it the next day, and it skyrockets.
Yeah.
Like, goes huge.
Yeah.
And my name's attached to it, filmed by Skinny Vinny.
Yep.
And it's like, holy shit, all these, and I'm seeing people like Tony Hawk comment on it, all these people like that I'm just like, holy fuck, something that I filmed is getting seen by all these people who
You admired.
dude.
Yeah.
So it was like, holy shit, this could actually like be something. I'll get loaded later on because I still wanted to keep getting high, but all that this was happening. So I was like, oh shit, this is really rad. So Zach was like, all right, dude, welcome to the crew. And like, because he had his own little Too Stupid to Die crew. He just finished filming the show for MTV, and it was just about to air. So he's like, welcome to the crew. So I started being like everybody's videographer for it. And
Awesome.
So it allowed me the opportunity to travel everywhere, film with the guys. And I never really had any aspirations to be in front of the camera. I just loved production.
Got it.
And it was like one thing after another, dude. It went from like that to then like filming pickups for Too Stupid and filming commercials with a bunch of people and going to BAMs and doing all this crazy shit.
And moving, that would never happen.
No.
No. That's what I tell people all the time. Moved where you got to where you can make stuff happen.
Yeah.
You know?
And dude, all this.
But you didn't even know that was going to happen.
I had no idea, dude. It fell on my lap.
That was your calling.
It was my dude.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and remember, all this is happening while I'm still in a sober living. Like I still have a curfew. I still get drug tested. I'm in the house for almost 3 years. You know, and it was just like each.
Were you when we did that? When you guys lived there?
No, that was like one of our first houses that we moved into.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, dude, it was just like each year was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then like my taste for on camera kind of came when like one of the guys pranked me. Video went pretty big, and we go to Bam's house for one of those parties, and I'm getting recognized from that prank video, and I'm an attention whore too. Like I love attention, and it felt really good to get recognized for something that we did. So I was like, oh, that was sick. Let me maybe try doing my own kind of stuff.
Yep.
And it like sort of worked out. And
it does work out because you do a lot of stunts too.
Yeah. And it's
which then that led to meeting with Steve.
Yeah, it kind of like.
How'd you meet him?
Through Zach, because he had that video.
Through Jackass.
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah. Well, Zach originally did a video with Steve.
Was it the one where he jumped in the cactus?
Yes, the cactus, and that video fucking hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah,
you know,
everybody's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, so they already had some sort of a relationship, and so Zach introduced me to Steve. I don't know, like late 2018, and we'd go to meetings here and there, you know, and then I started making my own content, and Steve started seeing this and
recognizing
it, and my shit would like each stunt that I would do would be a little bigger, better production value, you know, and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I guess he recognized it and he respected it, and he noticed my love of podcasting, because I've tried so many different podcasts, tried to build off the ground and try to make it work. But like you said earlier, that like nobody really knows how much work a fucking podcast is.
Bro, just so everybody knows right now, this is my first episode not my first episode filming a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did a podcast for ESPN for 9 years.
Yeah.
I did radio for them. I used to go to ABC Radio. It was crazy. But first podcast filming.
Yep.
And this is all DIY. So you guys listening, the audio was messed up in the beginning, and this would not happen right now if it wasn't for Skinny Vinny. I was like, dude, he drove all the way out here. And now I'd say, sorry, bro, it's good. Maybe next time. You know?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work, you know. It's like, but you don't know. You figure it out as you go.
You figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
And I mean, the biggest thing with podcasting is the consistency. That's it. It's just like how it's.
I love this interview because this is sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
But this is the podcasting that I'm used to doing. Because I see a lot of people sit around. I'm not going to knock anybody what they're doing. Do whatever you want. They sit around. They talk about things that are great and fun. I like to get to know people.
Yes.
I've always been that kind of podcasting kind of interviewer, even for TV and stuff.
And that's how it works, man. Like you have to be interested in other people, and you have to like be good at talking, and you gotta. It's kind of an art form, dude. Like not everybody can do it, and it's like. Anybody could like sit in a circle and have a conversation.
Of course, yeah.
But you got to bring that pizzazz. You have to bring some sort of like branding to it, you know, and really know.
Super competitive too.
Dude, everybody and their fucking grandma has a podcast.
Yeah, it's getting
So it's like Steve kind of saw like I started a podcast with Kyler Vick a few years ago called Moist Cheeks, and that really didn't go anywhere because they kind of. It was more they were dealing with their own personal stuff.
Did it just dry up?
It dried up. it didn't. Yeah. So it's like it dried up, dude. And like they were dealing with their own personal stuff, and I kind of had a different vision, and so that kind of ended after 7 episodes. And then when I got to LA, Zach and we started What the Fudge, and like this, I was like, whoa, this could actually go somewhere. The name is great. The branding is great.
I was a guest on it. That's
you were a guest on it.
You reached out to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
and we were getting names, dude. You came by. I had Cossack. I had Street Bike Tommy. I had like all these cool people come to the house and film episodes. So I was like, whoa, this could actually turn into something. So all it's going to take, we have everything.
It's like a band, though. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
Everybody has to be on the same page, and that's kind of what the problem was.
Right.
And it was also like Zach had the Jackass thing going on. He had a whole different thing, and like
they started doing comedy.
So it was like we were kind of veering into.
He's still struggling with drugs too.
Yeah, no, he's actually doing really well right now, dude. He's killing it in the comedy scene.
I just did a comedy show with him.
Yeah, dude, he's great, and I'm so happy for him.
I am too. I kind of felt bad. Well, I felt really bad actually. We did a show in Long Beach for Richie the Barber, and he goes, "I want you and Zach to do a thing," and he had gotten in a car accident.
Yep, I remember
right
that.
there, and I was like, "Dude, I felt so bad for him."
Yeah.
So then he freaking he wasn't gonna do the show.
Yeah.
And then he showed up.
Yeah.
Right before
He told
set,
me.
and I was like, "Bro, this is sick."
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm so happy for him.
I am too. I think
he's the best, dude. You
he's
know,
got a good heart. You know?
And when I was working so much with Zach, I was like, it just made to me, it just made so much sense. You know, it was like Zach Ass and Skinny Vinny, the two fat guys making content, doing stunts, you know, and having a podcast.
Combo.
Good combo. Made a lot of sense. But he just had a different vision for his own stuff, which is totally cool. And I'm so happy for him. And I think when What the Fudge was like kind of ended, Steve needed a kind of like a producer for Wild Ride, and
you've been able to multitask. That's your qualities that you have.
Yeah.
You can be on camera, behind camera.
Yeah, exactly.
You got my show going today.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's something he probably looked at, like, okay,
for
this
sure.
guy's more than just wanting to do stunts and be in this. He could also help me with this. And
and he kind of he saw my work ethic, because like I when I got sober, I kind of like have to do everything the opposite of how I lived before I got sober. I was like such a lazy piece of shit, you know what I mean? So when I got sober, I had to change everything, and my work ethic was one of them. You know, it's like now, like the first big thing I worked with Steve-O was we filmed his intro for his special down at Mike Busey's Sausage Castle, and I flew myself down. I bought my own. Even though I knew Steve-O had all these cameras that he has, I out of my own pocket bought the same camera that he has, the same lens. I flew my way down there. Came prepared, and I shot. He put me in a helicopter the whole day, and I was shooting the whole fucking day.
I remember seeing that online. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I've been to that place too.
It's the best.
Yeah, we did Gumball Rally. We went there.
Yeah.
I was like, it's wild. We're in the middle of nowhere, and there's some dude in a rabbit outfit jumping up and down like this way. Where were we? What were we talking about?
It's the intro. I was filming with Steve.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I did. I saw that intro. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and when we were done filming, it was a long day of filming. He's like, how'd you flew down here? I was like, yeah, obviously. He's like, we paid for it, right? I was like, nah, dude, I paid for it out of my own pocket. It's all good. Don't trip. He goes, nah, dude, we're paying for you. I was like, dude, don't worry about it. So he pays me double. Like, he paid me for the day's worth of filming. He paid me back for the plane ticket, and then he paid me more. And then ever since then, it was like he kept calling me to come on these shoots, and I was just like, fuck, like, yeah, dude, like this is the dream, you know, like obviously the dream would be like to be on Jackass, you know, of course,
dude. I know all those guys.
Yeah, they're all the best, dude.
Jeff Tremaine and Spike Jones. They were, you know, I knew them from the bike world. You know, Spike was like the #1 photographer for Freestyling and Go magazine.
Dude, Spike is a legend.
Oh, he's a legend. Me, Spike, and Hoffman, you know, we'd go on road trips to ride ramps. I remember we went to Austin, Texas one time. So all those dudes were like the homies. You know what I mean? So yeah, to work with, you know, any of them.
I mean, even today.
I mean, Jeff and Spike are like, and Johnny, you know, with the dick. I mean, all of them. But I'm just saying. Yeah. They started it, you know.
Yep, like, they started everything. They started a whole culture, bro.
We hear a funny story real quick.
Yes, please.
Okay, my best friend's Dennis McCoy from Kansas City. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
And he was #1 pro in 1985.
Yeah.
Okay. And he came to California and beat everybody. And so then I was like, who's this kid? That's when like everything was in the Midwest, all the riders, all the sponsors. And so he gets this big bag of fan mail. And then he's like, this one letter stuck out, and it was this kid named Spike. And he had a photo of himself on the bottom, and on the top half of the photo was him doing a one-footed table in the woods on some quarter pipe. I see it clear as day. And he had written on it, "My name's Spike. I'm a fan of yours." And he had colored in like the photo because it Xeroxed it with markers of him riding. It was wild, and that was from Spike Jones.
That's so sick.
I always say Spike Jonesy because Okay, so then he took you up in a helicopter.
Yeah, and I'm just filming his intro the whole day, and everything went great, dude. It was like one of the best film sets I've ever been a part of, and ever since there, he like recognized my work ethic and how much I love doing this shit.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I started being a part of his crew. You know, more pretty much just production wise, helping him film all the YouTube stuff and everything, and then I'm like producing Wild Ride, his podcast that he has.
Right.
And it's funny because like I had no intentions. I had no thought of ever being the co-host of my favorite podcast. It was more of I wanted to be a guest.
Right.
I wanted to be in the seat to have one episode, you know, and so that's kind of what I was working towards.
Yeah, and because we were talking about podcast, and that's awesome. We were talking about podcasts, how hard it is on your own.
Yeah.
Dude, it's extremely hard on your own, and being a guest is actually good.
Yeah.
You have to camaraderie.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to carry it on your own, you know, like Joe Rogan style of carrying it
For
on your
sure.
own. But I've always been like a DIY guy, you know.
Yeah.
As much as it's a blessing, it can be a curse.
Totally.
Because then you're like, oh, I can't do everything on my own.
Yeah.
You know. But I think that's good though. If you've got good chemistry and it's not forced, you know, because when things are forced, it's like horrible.
Yeah.
But if it organically happened and you like genuinely like it works, run it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
I always say that. You know?
Yeah, and
Sounds like that's how a lot of your opportunities have happened. for
dude,
you.
it has pretty much, man. And it's like I was producing Wild Ride for about like 8 months. I'm going on tour with him, helping him like sell merch and film on the road and
Don't
stuff.
you got your own
and
merch too?
I do now.
Sick.
And I finally pulled the trigger on that, and he started letting me sell my merch at his merch table, and he's not even taking any cuts. And it's like, bro, not many people would do that.
Right.
You know, Steve
But you
is
guys
like
are partners at this point.
Yeah, and
I mean, to agree with the podcast and friendship.
yeah, and he's really taken me in, you know, because the whole thing what happened with Zach, you know, I was like super bummed, and like I didn't know which way my career was gonna go. I was like, fuck, who do I have to film with, you know, and because Zach was dealing with his own personal stuff, and
Right.
So Steve kind of like took me in, you know, and he was just like, dude, just have faith. Things will work out. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. Things will work out. And I had faith. I was pissed. I was like kind of resentful in a lot of ways, but like I just had faith and I kept doing what I was doing. And then the next thing you know, like I have, Zach had an episode of Wild Ride. And Steve had me come on for that episode.
Right.
I had like the last 30 minutes of it. And so I was like, oh, shit, I have my episode of Wild Ride that I've been wanting. You know, it wasn't my own solo episode, but still, I had 30 minutes on another episode.
Do you think it's like laws of attraction too, though?
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
That you like, you know, as much as you like wanted to be on that podcast and you like, you manifest that.
I am a huge believer in manifestation.
And I say this to a lot of people about the manifestation is like, it's easy for people to manifest. Well, I don't say easy, but for a lot of people to manifest bad stuff.
Totally.
But the thing that's crazy, I just thought of this, like your subconscious mind never goes to sleep. It only gives you what you think and say. So if you're thinking about something a lot and then it pops up, oh, I was just thinking of that. It's like, yeah, because you were thinking of it. So it's good though that these things that you've manifested yourself out of the fucking porta potty to be with, you know, one of the biggest celebrities in Hollywood and Jackass and be a co-host. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And you have a place there.
Yeah.
And I think you probably always seen yourself there. Just the drugs got in the way.
The drugs, and it's true. I've always seen myself being
like it.
in this world since I was 10 years old.
So you're manifesting it beforehand. You just got
100%.
derailed.
Yeah. I got derailed heavy, you know, and the reason I got, I mean, it wasn't just the drugs, you know, it's like time when I'm getting loaded, time just flew by, dude. Like the one thing, you know, I'm fucking 18 years old, just graduated high school, smoking weed and partying here and there. The next thing you know, I'm 27 shooting heroin in the middle of fucking Vermont somewhere. You know, and I'm like, well, that dream's long and gone. I'm almost 30. That's never going to happen. So it's just like, okay, so if it's never going to happen, why even continue thinking about it kind of thing, you know?
But in the back of your mind, did you ever think moving to California, like maybe I can meet some people, do some stuff? Never, nothing.
Never. No,
that makes it even cooler.
Yeah, and when you're someone like,
I mean, your story.
For sure, yeah. And like for somebody who's from New England, like Connecticut, I was from a really small town, you know, the Hollywood dream always seems so far-fetched and so like it can never happen.
Right.
You know, it's like I only watch it on TV and magazines and skate videos and shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember like getting loaded, like doing my Percocets, watching Robin Big and like Fantasy Factory and just like dreaming, like wish, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like the whole co-host for Wild Ride, dude, like being a co-host never entered my mind once. Like I had my episode with Zach. That was it. I'm happy. I'm content. Like I love producing it. I love traveling everywhere, meeting cool celebrities, being a part of it. Even though I'm not on the episode, I just love doing it. And then like the next thing you know, Steve is just like, we had Bam on for the second time, and he's like, yeah, set up a camera for yourself and grab a mic. And I was like,
Whoa.
what? He's like, yeah, do it. And I was just like completely caught, wasn't prepared, wasn't doing anything. I was like, oh, okay, shit, okay. And this is a huge episode. Anything with Bam on it, it blows the fuck up. Of
course, yeah.
You know, and so we do that one, and then I'm like, okay, we did the episode. I was like, oh, that was sick, but really weird how like just a flip of a switch, had the seat. And then the next episode, we were in Vegas and we had Dan Brazilian on, or however you say his last name, and he's like, yeah, set up a camera. I was like, okay, sick. And then when we start the episode, he's like, yeah, this is Skinny Vinny, our new co-host. I was like, completely caught off guard.
Oh, wow.
Like, whoa,
yeah,
co-host, sick, dude, you know? So
yeah.
I was just like super stoked, you know? And this is after like I had the TV show with Zach and like these other things that we've done that really nobody have ever seen. A few people have seen, but like,
right.
So I'm like still, of course, I'm in my head thinking, okay, where's my career gonna go? But as long as I like Steve said, as long as I just keep doing what I'm doing, things are gonna fucking work out.
Yeah.
And that's it, dude.
They
it's
always
like,
do, you know. You gotta remind yourself that. Even me, I gotta remind myself sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, gotta work itself out to work out.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, you're like, dude, it's not gonna work out. You gotta tell yourself, no,
dude,
it's gonna work out.
There have been so many nights where I'm just in my office, just editing, just like, fuck, is this really worth it? Like people people think like what we do, we're making so much money and like all this shit. Like, dude, I'm fucking like, I'm paying my bills. I'm able to put a tiny bit of money in the savings sometimes, but living in LA, it's expensive as fuck. So it's like,
I feel the same way about like, just hang in there. Is it even worth it? Like,
dude,
even this podcast.
Right now. Yeah. So it's just like, there's been so many nights where I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like sometimes I think, man, maybe I would enjoy a normal life working a 9-to-5 where I know I'm going to get a paycheck every week.
Yeah, but life's not about money so much.
Exactly.
As much as like, people go, what are you talking about? It's not about money, man.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, you know, I faced that with my son with, I could relate this to, since it sparked something in me just now. I was like, my son plays football, and it seems like a lot of people are always this quest to get their kid in a good school for high school to get a scholarship, and then therefore they're going to be happy. And I'm like, okay, not necessarily.
No.
Like, life is about the game. Life is about playing. Life is about riding. Now, anyone out there listening, don't think that I'm saying getting a college degree is not important or is not something your dream. Of course, do what you got to do. But on the flip side of that, what I was trying to express was, it's about the game, man. It's about being able to play. It's about catching that ball. It's about making a touchdown. It's about that feeling. It's about that moment as well. Don't miss that.
For sure.
Because if you don't miss these moments in life and you just think you need this next thing to be happy or this money to be happy, you're going to miss now. And if you don't have now, then what's the point of it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and when I do have that feeling of like, because like, dude, I only get paid when I work. It's not like I'm working every week, every day, dude. There's some times where like there might not be a gig for fucking a couple weeks. So I'm just like,
if the podcast, that episode doesn't do good, then
exactly.
You're like, I'm not making as much.
Exactly. So it's just like, but when I have that feeling of like, oh, maybe I'd rather be a normal person, that feeling goes away pretty quick because I just look on my walls of my pictures and everything that I've done, and I'm like, well,
you are normal. Everyone else is abnormal.
yeah, totally. Yeah. But dude,
know?
it's been a fucking crazy ride, and I'm super
Wild
grateful.
ride.
It's been a fucking wild ride. And
well, let's talk about this show though. You got a new show that you got coming out.
It's not coming out, not yet.
Or you've been working?
I've been
on
working on it.
Okay,
I've been working on it for about 6 months.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, we could talk about it. Okay. We could talk about it. I haven't talked to many people about it. I think I showed you a little bit of it.
You did. Yeah. You sent me
it's called 8 equals D.
You sent me an episode.
I did.
Felt like it was a full episode.
I did. It was a pilot. Yeah. And it's called 8 equals D. And for those of you who are like, what the fuck is 8 equals D?
I was going to say the same thing. I can only think one thing.
It's just a dick.
That's
it. You write it on a piece of paper, it looks like a dick.
Oh, wait. 8 equals D?
8 is the ball sack. Equals is the shaft. D is the head.
Oh, I thought it was like 8-inch dick.
Yeah. So it's just like
8 centimeters.
So it's basically like, dude, our lives are just one giant dick joke. So it's just like, why not? And like the internet and TV makes you censor your shit all the time. Like I'm always getting censored. So you can't censor this dick because it's literally just an equation.
Oh, awesome.
That's it.
Awesome.
You know, and so basically I just want a dick on everybody's TV screen that's not censored.
There you go.
That's it. You know what I mean?
What's the concept of the show?
So it's a sketch comedy show intertwined with some stunts and pranks. And
because it has acting.
Like full on scripted sketches. And I want it to be mainly sketches. I'll always love the stunts. I'll always incorporate stunts in whatever I do. But I feel like the stunt world, I feel like the Jackass guys are the only guys who could pull off the longevity of stunts. You know, I feel like everybody could have their moment with some stunts here and there.
Yep.
But to have the longevity, I think those guys are grandfathered in, and nobody else could really pull it off for that long.
Do you think though that they could do like take a break and then bring some new characters?
Like they did with the fourth one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed the fourth one. It was like mixed reviews, but I just don't know. The only thing that I could see happening is if, let's just say they make another Jackass. I feel like the OGs all of them are just on the sidelines. They're not involved at all.
Yeah, like I can see Johnny still hosting it.
Still hosting the peanut gallery, you know. Yeah. But as far as like, dude, like they're 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Steve-O's 49, John Knoxville's in his 50s. Like they can't get super gnarly anymore.
Yeah.
Some comedy stuff for sure, but I feel like with the new guys, if they were going to do this, it would be mostly them.
What about you with stand-up comedy? You mentioned that before.
Dude, it's something I've always been interested in.
Steve-O's right there.
I know.
You know.
I know. It's something I've always been interested in.
I'm going to do a show with him, man. A comedy show.
Dude.
I asked him to come on my show, but he said he was touring.
Yeah. Dude.
Not working on new material.
We were touring for so long.
And so you did that whole comedy tour,
The whole thing, dude.
And like he's selling out like these little theaters, kind of pretty big
yeah,
theaters.
3,000 seaters.
Sick.
Yeah. It's the best, dude. It's like
he's got
his show is amazing. The bucket list tour, it's over now. Like we filmed the special in London, and it's one hell of a run, dude.
You know what I like about Steve-O with comedy is he does his own thing.
Bro, he created this.
He's not clicking into anything.
No, dude, he created this own thing where I haven't really seen before, and it's fucking genius. Where it's a multimedia presentation, pretty much.
Yeah.
He has his stand-up bits, and in between he has the video to prove it, which is fucking phenomenal.
Oh, when he does his shows.
Yeah, when he does his shows, he has a big screen in the back. And
so
he'll tell the story and some jokes, and then he'll have the video to back up the story.
Oh, that's sick.
And it's fucking and you can't see any of this footage anywhere else.
Wow.
Like we have made sure we have fucking protected it. It's not online. It's nowhere. The only place you can see.
So you did the whole tour.
The whole tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it was. Dude, I left the country for my first time in my life. I went to Australia. I went to, did the whole UK. I went to Romania. Like, we went to Paris. You know, it's like,
sick.
yeah. So it's like,
checking a camera right there.
Yeah, everything's still rolling. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's like being a part of Steve has like changed my life like crazy, bro.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it's
awesome.
It's been a hell of a time.
Well, I'm really happy for you, and plus, like, you know, all the years of living in a porta potty, it's fucking crazy, bro. That's insane.
Well, that's what my merch is me sitting in front of a porta potty.
Oh wow,
babe, could you? I brought stickers for you. Can you grab stickers from in front of the front pocket?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm stoked. Crazy, man. What a crazy ride.
Yeah.
Before we end this, I always like to. I want to check out these stickers first. Let me see.
So that is just a sticker. No shirts, no nothing yet. I think I'm making those into car
This
fresheners.
is it right here, bro.
But that's the one where I made shirts, and
Yeah.
I sold out on tour. It was great.
Real
dude.
estate nowadays, if you want to rent a porta potty in California, it's like $4,000 a month.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Before we leave,
yeah.
I always ask someone to bring something in the show. Considering we're in a museum.
For sure.
And it's a pop culture museum.
Yes.
A lot of my friends are cool like you, and they do cool stuff. Is there anything that you brought with you?
I love this
today?
segment.
Okay,
This
cool.
is going to be a 6 segment going up forward. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there anything you brought with you that you in life inspired you or something that motivated you to say, all right, is there any part of your history you want to share in a story with me?
Yeah, so it's not old history. It's somewhat new.
Yeah, but you kind of 2018 is when things really started for you.
Yeah, and
So-
and I think this happened in 2000, the early 2019.
Okay.
And basically, what this is, it's a boxing glove
Right.
from one of the first videos that I filmed that went pretty viral.
Well, who's got the signature?
Bam, antiqued me. You remember in the Jackass movies where he antiques people? He has a handful of flour in one hand.
yeah,
and then
yeah,
the boxing glove, and he'll throw the antique on one side, and then he'll get you around the face with the other side.
That's the
so
glove?
he got me with an antique.
Oh, wow.
And he signed it, and Andy Roy signed it too. He was
I
there.
saw Andy Roy's
Yeah.
signature on there. Yeah.
And it was like the video went pretty viral, and it
Awesome.
was like my first time filming with Bam. Still like living in sober living, not knowing what the fuck's gonna happen, and
Before all this stuff started to happen.
before all this stuff started happening.
Got it.
So I have this in a case at my house.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and
that's cool.
and I forever look at this. I will never lose this. I will never get rid of this. This has been a thing where it's just like, yeah,
Who are you gonna hit with it first?
bro, it's
Who are
funny
you gonna
because
deal
you
with?
could still see like some of the flour on the inside from 2019. Yeah,
That's awesome. Dude,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's way cool.
yeah, it's one of my favorite piece of memorabilia.
Well, we gotta get this in the museum.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool, bro.
yeah,
That's
man.
That's it?
Yeah,
Bam. Andy Roy. Pretty sick. What a
yeah,
guy.
man.
You talked to Bam much?
He was on tour with us earlier this year. It was amazing having him on tour on the road. He opened for Steve, and
For a little bit, I saw
for a
that,
little
yeah.
bit. It was like
Dude,
3
this is
weeks.
amazing.
It's great.
This is freaking cool.
Yeah.
Glad you brought this in.
Yeah.
This is sick.
And
What a cool story.
thanks, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and it was a pleasure having him on the road, dude. He's so funny when he's sober, dude.
I know. He's a good guy.
He's the
a
best,
He's a really
dude.
good guy. He really is.
Yeah.
I knew he was 16.
Yeah.
So we did the Tony Hawk Secret skate park tours.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing is, we did the Super Bowl halftime show, Tony Hawk Boom Boom Hawk Jam,
Mm-hmm.
and I was hosting it in 2005. And Bam was going to come out, during the. What was cool about that tour is like I hosted and then I rode as well, and then I went back to hosting. It was a lot of work, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like, dude, I get to do both. And Bam's like, we were presenting something coming out of intermission or some shit, and he's like, yo, man, walk with me, because he was a little nervous being in front of it's different when you film and then and he was still kind of young too,
Yeah.
And I remember that moment was pretty rad that
Yeah.
we did a lot of segments for Fox and stuff. Anyways,
So
whatever,
sick.
I'm going on about Bam.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Dude, I love him. He's the greatest. I want him.
I hope he stays sober.
It looks
Yeah.
like he's doing pretty good right
Yeah.
now. He looks healthy. But
Yeah.
we haven't seen him in a while. We made up these skateboards. It was like a Steve-O Bam collab skateboard that we made. We made like 500 of them, brought them on tour, sold out like crazy. And then Steve was going to make a couple thousand of them because how well they sold. And he was going to put give all the money to Phoenix for like a college trust fund.
Oh, sick.
But like Bam kind of went off the rails again. But it looks like he's doing good now.
Yeah, I saw Billy Idol or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, dude, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I love him.
Dude, I really think it's rad, that glove you brought in.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
super
you.
rad.
Yeah.
And also too, where could people find you?
For sure.
All of it.
Yeah,
Everything.
Instagram is just at Skinny Vinny. My website, you can get merch at www.skinnyvinnytv.com. I will be making more shirts and car air fresheners and all this cool shit.
Cool shit, yeah. Get one of the porta potties.
Yeah, so yeah, you can get that. The one with me on the toilet, I'm gonna be making car air fresheners.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it looks like it smells like shit, but it's gonna smell good. Yeah, it's gonna smell like roses.
Smells like roses, bro.
Exactly.
When your shit, that's your thing.
Yeah.
When your shit to smell like roses. Boom,
Exactly.
Bam.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be having some cool shit on my website, and then episodes of Wild Ride every Thursday on the Wild Ride YouTube channel, and then look out for 8 equals D. It's 8 equals D official on Instagram. I just made it. I'm gonna be posting a lot of stuff that we've been doing. I'm turning it into a brand. I'm gonna turn it into an actual brand.
You know how to do that now.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably already did, but when you're exposed to things, you see other people do it, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not okay. It's about just doing it.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's basically it.
Dude, you're rad, bro.
You.
Dude, I'm so stoked you came in.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened about him.
Yeah.
I want to thank the Valley Relics Museum for letting us, Tommy, you're the bomb. Anyone that's ever in the Valley, make sure you come by the Valley Relics Museum. It's an amazing spot, pop culture museum. This was Jack Webb.
This is so sick.
This came out of his house in the Valley, and I don't know really a whole lot about Jack Webb, but what I do know is he was a producer, and he wanted to see what his competition was. So he made this. That's the clocks, okay, and the TVs, so he could see what was programming on different times.
Whoa.
Yeah, from what I understand. So he was a really famous TV producer, writer in the industry.
love this.
Yeah, and his house got
This
bought
is
in the
so
Valley.
great.
So anything from the Valley is going to come
Yeah,
through here.
yeah.
Something's getting torn down, or if it's something valuable to the museum that's iconic. So yeah, this is rad.
So
I want to get
rad.
these working.
That'd be so
I think they do work. I'd like to get my logo on all of it.
That would be
kinda cool,
sick.
Right? Or like if someone has a video.
Now you're thinking, dude.
Yeah. Or someone has a video and they could play, see your skate video or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you got any music video? Play that. I'm gonna get these fixed for the next episode.
So sick.
I had to get the microphones fixed first.
Yeah. And the GoPros.
So next time the lights are gonna go out.
Yeah.
Anyway, subscribe. Thanks a lot. This is the Rick Thorne Show. Follow Skinny Vinny and everything that he's doing.
Yeah.
Much love, brother.
Thanks,
Thank you.
dude.
All
Much
right.
love, dude.
Stay rad. You.
The Rick Thorne Show!